It's 7:45. Welcome back. A Charlotte lawmaker's lawsuit is going to federal court now involving an AI video made of her. Lawyers for State Senator DeAndrea Salvador say that the case stems from an ad for energy-efficient home appliances sold by a subsidiary of Whirlpool in Brazil. Salvador claims that her words from a TED Talk were used to create the ad, which later won an award.
Now, Whirlpool claims that there isn't a jurisdiction in North Carolina because the company isn't based there and the ad was released in another country.
All right, so joining us now is our chief legal analyst, Kali Frodes. There are a lot of different layers to this. You have deepfakes, you have different countries, you have two different companies, and a lawmaker. So what do you make of this case and just really using someone else's image in a way that was not what it was intended for?
There's multiple layers. It's like an onion, and
yes.
onions have layers, right? What I can say is that it is caked on top of each other, pun intended. That when you're attempting to look at a case like this, you want to just pull back and look at it. Yeah, this is first impression. You're talking about AI. This is a new area, and the law is trying to catch up with the technology, so it's kind of hard to find cases that would connect with this. But when you pull it away, it goes back to basic civil procedure. Do you have subject matter jurisdiction? Is there personal jurisdiction, and is there venue? Subject matter jurisdiction, the court will have to determine that. And that's what the company, Whirlpool's company attorneys were arguing, that, Your Honor, they filed this in North Carolina, but we don't have any connection in North Carolina. So you want to walk through the process for that. And again, that doesn't have anything to do with AI. That really doesn't have much to do with her being an elected official. It's a number of standards in the way that you can get there. Does the defendant reside in the state? Does the defendant have business in the state, either headquartered here, or do they have substantial contacts in the state? And you would walk through that. That would probably be 4 or 5 weeks of law school, going through learning how to walk through that process to see, well, have I filed this in the right location against the proper defendant? So when her attorney said, well, we need the discovery, we need this information to see if they recognize that she was an elected official, to see if they knew that she was residing in North Carolina, and we won't actually know if this was filed in the proper location if we don't have this documentation. That's why the court granted limited discovery so they can at least find out, hey, what's their conversation with this company internally to determine this lady, this person that we picked, she is elected, she's in North Carolina. Okay, so now we have enough to be able to grant you the jurisdiction that you want to be able to have this case stay here.
What rights do we have, does anyone have, I mean, not just a lawmaker, have against AI being used against you, defamation, or used to purchase something that you had no control over?
This is, I won't say that this is a tricky question, but I will say that it's a tricky area because, again, the law is evolving. She's saying that it was a false and misleading and unfair and deceptive type of ad. Specifically, she'd say that I didn't give you permission because I was participating in this talk, but then it's even deeper than that. Yes, her image and likeness is there at the TED Talk, but who actually owns the rights to the TED Talk is even another question. But they manipulated her voice, they manipulated her image, they kind of cut up parts of what she said. So even when you get to trial, if this is the right location, figuring out, well, who had the standing to bring this type of claim, who owns the rights to that material is going to be deeper. An individual, normal person has an expectation to privacy in their home. When you get into public places or in venues that you're either paid for or provided to speak in, it kind of diminishes. And so it depends on where you're at is, I guess, the easiest question. Yeah. But someone using your likeness to profit or to win an award. In this case, I think there are clear protections there. And that's why the company that won the award, now the award has been rescinded because you didn't have permission to use this individual's likeness. I think peeling those types of things back, you won't know that until you get to discover.
Yeah, the company apologized to, and like you said, they had to give the award back for what they were described as like an innovative, creative project for the commercial. If you endorse something, is that where it gets kind of tricky? They're saying, well, I never endorsed that. You can't splice up my words to endorse a product that I had no say in.
100%, and that's what I think, that it's that unfair, deceptive, that false and misleading. And so it can be a couple of things. Yes, you didn't have rights to use my name, image, and likeness, but now you profited from them. Right. So now I can be able to recoup parts of the profits that you use, and that's the angle that folks would start to go towards. Hey, I didn't give you permission to use it, but you made $1 million off of my name. So now I should be able to get some of the benefit from my name being used with your product. Specifically, if you use it because I was some notable person, i.e., you know, a LeBron James or something, you connect him to your product, and your product, you know, goes viral, then hey, he would have an opportunity to sue you. In that same regard, in her situation, she's not obviously on a global scale like that, but if you're connecting her with this this region, and you did targeting marketing to this region, specifically trying to connect to individuals that maybe she had some influence on, then yes, you could connect there. And I track with her attorneys are attempting to do. But before we get to any of that, we got to make sure this is filed in the right location. If you don't have subject matter jurisdiction, if you don't have personal jurisdiction, if it's not in the proper venue, this case can't even be here.
Step one. So we'll have to see
Yes.
this in that limited discovery. All right, Khalif, really interesting. Thank you.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.